Hello. Good. Good morning, everybody. Welcome back from last night. Oh, you look good. It's great to be hosting this panel today, which is all about music tech solutions for independent artists. Now, for me, it's even more of a pleasure to be sharing the stage today because I've been a touring artist for well over 25 years now and an independent recording artist since 2007. And a lot has changed since 2007 in the last 15 years in the royalty and copyright space, in the label space, as well as creators building businesses. And so I'm delighted to share the stage with three experts in this field: Thomas Koch, Jocelyn Say, and Stella Reid. So before we launch in, would you like to just give a brief intro, 30 seconds, about yourselves?
Hello, everyone. I'm Thomas. I represent Patreon, and I'm the marketing manager for the French-speaking markets, including Belgium, which is why I'm here, to tell you all about how we can get creators involved in membership and how we can get them paid.
Hello, I'm Jocelyn Say. I'm French. I'm representing Bridger, which is who's a new copyright management organization, an independent management entity. And we are looking at simplifying access to copyright collection for independent songwriters mainly. Thanks.
Hi, everyone. Great to be back again. And thanks again to Jerome and Coralie for putting this together. It's been brilliant so far. Delighted to be here. I'm Stella Reid, and I'm here representing AIM, which is Association for Independent Music across the UK. And also co-founder of Rough Bones, which is a talent development hub with label services. So we're very sort of hands-on in terms of artists' approach. And it's a delight to be part of this panel.
Amazing, Stella. And so let's kick off with you then. You know, you've just introduced yourself. Rough Bones Records, AIM, you know, you're the co-chair of the small label committee, right? And you're a songwriter, producer, artist, is that correct?
In my past life, yes.
In your past life?
Yes.
Right, so you have this broad range of experience. In your experience, Benjamin.
I got so engaged in the NFT talks in the other room that
That's all right, we can bring some of that in. Brilliant. Yeah, go on, Benjamin, give us your thing and then we'll get back to you, Stella. Give us your intro.
Sorry about that. I'm Ben. There's a much more handsome gentleman as my picture there, but I kind of like it. I'm with Epidemic Sound. We're a leading licensing company for content creators globally, headquartered out of Stockholm, Sweden.
Wonderful, thank you. We'll get onto you in 1 second. So Stella, you have this vast array of experience across the board. What are you seeing as the main challenges right now for artists?
I had a lot of this discussion the last day or two with other industry experts, and I think from the ground up, so at sort of grassroots level, the biggest challenge for artists is deciphering what's out there. There's just so much information, so many paths to get to the intended goal, which is to make a living out of this, share your music, connect with fans. And I think there's just so much information out there. There's an oversaturation of the market because of how, I spoke about this yesterday, because of how easy it is to create great quality music at your fingertip now, particularly over the last 5 years. And it's about artists figuring out the best path that suits them to connect with their fans and grow their fan base. Because there's so much out there, it's sort of difficult to find what coat fits size for each artist. That's the biggest challenge I've noticed.
Right, and in your role with AIM, how are you helping artists to do that?
So I've been fortunate to sort of also sit on the small label committee as chair, and having access to small label proprietors, founders, and also independent artists that are part of our small label committee. And it's being a sort of a sounding board for them, and hearing what the specific challenges are, and being able to explore what resources exist, help them get clarity on what pathway is more important or would be more useful to them. For example, some artists are opposed to platforms like maybe TikTok or Instagram, and other artists absolutely embrace it. And it's about making sure no one is left out in the race to get traction on their project and to connect with their fans, because there is a fan base for every artist out there. It's about finding which one, and being able to connect with them in the easiest, most cost-effective way.
And I love what you say about a sounding board. You know, that sounds like a solution in itself, right? For artists to have that. And certainly back in my day, that just wasn't there. I remember AIM when it first started. I was like, wow. What about in terms of licensing, Benjamin? Are there sounding boards within that space? What's going on kind of solution-wise in that space?
Yeah. So I think the big challenges for artists is obviously getting heard and getting paid, and then, you know, improving your craft. And we noticed early on that soundtracking silly little internet videos is a pretty good way to get artists heard. And, you know, at Epidemic, we soundtracked a big portion of YouTube is soundtracked by us, so double-digit percentages. So when artists come and work with us, that's kind of a benefit they get, is that their music will be put into our catalog and then synced in all these internet videos. And then if you look in the comments, a lot of these videos, often people are asking about the music that's being played there. So that's been a massive boost for our artists, and something that we can uniquely offer. And a lot of our leading artists have tens of billions of views across YouTube since they started working with us. So we've seen the power of that, and I think we're seeing it now on TikTok, obviously. However, the challenge on TikTok is like, okay, how can they select my artist to sync on their video, right? And our solution for that has been that we offer commercial rights associated with the music that we license out. So if you are a professional creator, whether you're an enterprise or if you're an influencer, you have commercial intent. So you can actually use that TikTok library. You need to kind of pay for a license, and that's kind of where Epidemic will come in. So we're soundtracking music with commercial intent, and yeah, so that's an approach we're taking.
Right, and you say leading artists. Does this mean that what you're doing is including kind of artists who've been out there with a big following, or new ones coming in? How are you democratizing what's going on in that space?
Yeah, we work with like 300, 400 artists, I would say. A lot of them don't want to be frontline artists. They just want to make great music. And that's totally cool. They can just make beautiful piano solos or lo-fi beats or, you know, that kind of stuff. And so we support a lot of those artists. And funny enough, that kind of music does really well on DSPs too. Because people want to listen to music to relax to, and to sleep to, and to focus. So a lot of the music that our artists produce for sync works really well on DSPs as well. Of course, we also have frontline artists that want to build their frontline careers. We're not a normal label, so we don't invest in traditional artist marketing really so much. But we do have this amazing sync engine. So they see like, wow, if I work, if I launch a few records with Epidemic, then I can get my music in all these internet videos. So that works really well for them as well.
And how long has Epidemic been? When was it launched? How long has it been in existence?
Over 10 years ago. Over 10 years ago, yeah. And so it's been a good run. It took about 5 years just to kind of get it to a place where we could go to market, to build the catalog to the point that it was ready to go. And then it's been a pretty nice rocket ship since then.
Yeah, rocket ships, we like those. Yeah. And linking from licensing, I mean, I remember releasing my first album in 2007. I'd set up my own label, had no idea what I was doing, no idea about licensing. You probably came in five-ish years later. And also copyright, royalties, you know, it was all this ISRC codes, and, you know, that links nicely into what you're doing with Bridger. You know, it's, back then, it was such an unknown space. I think it probably still is, and Bridger is now solving the problem of these black box, unallocated copyright royalties. And yeah, I'm curious, can you tell us more?
Yeah, sure. So relating to what Stella was saying, I guess one of the big challenges that artists are facing today, the one I'm seeing, is the number of choices you have to make. And among those choices, among all the solutions you have, it may be sometimes very complex to even understand what is offered to you. And one of the main tools emergent artists, which are the artists we are working with, are using our digital distributors to make sure their music is distributed on all DSPs. And one of the main, the first problem we see is that artists believe that by distributing their music on DSPs, they're getting all the rights back. For instance, because what you see on digital distributors are obviously needed, but the text you see is we're getting all your rights back. And many of the people do not understand that all the rights do not mean all the rights. That means just a portion of the rights they're entitled to. So the first thing we are looking at is bringing more clarity and simplicity to those concepts. Copyright is quite a complex matter, and it's somehow oversimplified when you say all the rights are in a box. So we are trying to bring clarity in that. And what we are also doing at Bridger is tackling the copyright black box issue. Copyright black box issue, as you know it, is the fact that many of the composer, songwriter, and publisher rights are not distributed to the rights holders for one main reason, which is clearly identified, which is the metadata issue. Confirmed the first talk of the Fuga CEO. And the second thing is that many of songwriters are not even affiliated to collective management organizations. So that's what we're looking at as a new way to collect those copyright on streaming platforms. We're looking at bringing clarity to non-affiliated songwriters and a way to easily declare themselves as songwriters and declare their works so that we can collect the associated copyright.
Yeah, that is so super important. And I believe also that you've started a new podcast with Bridger.
Yeah, yeah, indeed, yeah. We started a podcast series with Xavier over there. Part of the, let's say, the educational program we have, we brought some content through a blog that is accessible on bridgermusic.io if you want to take a look at it. And we thought that it would be good to bring a level of audio to it. So we transformed that into a very nice podcast that you can hear if you go on the website or if you go on Spotify or any DSP. So it's easy to listen to.
Yeah, amazing. How many, just as a matter of interest, how many people in the audience classify themselves as an artist or a creator? Okay, a few of you. All right, so, and how many of you few are running your own businesses? Oh yeah, so there's a few, right. Okay, so Thomas is at the heart of creators creating businesses with Patreon. You know, the success speaks for itself. You know, artists are now able to leverage their audiences through platforms like YouTube, Instagram, etc. Exciting, it's exciting. Tell us more about what trends you're seeing at the moment.
I think the biggest change for artists and for independent artists is learning new skills as they grow and become creative entrepreneurs. One of the challenges is when you're just focused on your craft and your art, you're never meant to be an accountant, a team leader, someone who's involved in the promotion of your music, and so you have to do all these jobs as an independent artist, and it can be really challenging. So one thing we're working with Patreon is making it accessible, making it understandable, and trying to break down how you can be an independent artist and also have a successful membership business and become a true creative entrepreneur. So we work with artists one-on-one, and we take them through that entire journey, teach them the skills they need to learn on how to run a business, how to promote their music on their socials, and become successful. So I think that's the biggest change. Artists need to lean into those new skills, and they need help all the way. For those who are able to do that with labels and managers, that's great. But for all the others out there who are struggling, I think we're providing a bit of a lifeline to all these folks and helping. We set them up for success. That's essentially how we work with musicians, and beyond that, with all other creative entrepreneurs that we have on the platform.
I'm curious about the membership services. I'd like to offer that out to the rest of the panel in a second. In terms of innovations, so there's been word, maybe you're already bringing this out, word that you're now able to embed video into Patreon. Is that true? Is that something that's a big thing for Patreon? What innovations are happening at the moment?
Yes, it is true. We're working on a native video function where artists can upload video directly. So currently the way it works is we have an integration with Vimeo, which isn't the best way for the product to work. Ideally, we'd want creators to be able to upload video natively, just a click of a button and the video is read directly embedded in Patreon. But we spoke just briefly about copyrights. That creates a whole world of legal problems for us when, music is being hosted on our platform. We need to work with copyright owners and all types of new stakeholders to make sure that we are, respecting the law. So that's why the process is slow for launch, but it's set to launch later this year. We're also working on a live streaming solution for artists. We know that musicians really love to talk to their fans, do weekly live streams with them to get them involved into, their art, their life, their craft. And so that's another thing we're working on. And the biggest project we have is a white label solution so that large creators who need to have kind of a brand agnostic integration of Patreon into their world can do that very easily. So you would be able to go to artist.com. The whole brand design would be that artist, but the whole back end and the membership business would be essentially run by us. And that's something that really large artists are looking for. People that have massive teams that want the full control over their brand, that don't want the Patreon logo in the way. That's something we're also working on.
Great stuff. Is there a link there, a natural link to the copyright element, Jocelyn?
Yeah, about innovation, I think we've been innovating to fulfill one of the main desire of humankind, which is laziness. So we've tried to find a solution as smooth as possible so that people were not stuck artists were not stuck when they wanted to declare themselves as a composer or as an author and declare their work. So we have our innovation is a process innovation. Declaring your profile on Bridger takes approximately 2 minutes. When it turns to declaring your works, we rely on the information provided by DSPs. So it's, I guess, a lot smoother than a usual long declaration of works. And then we take care of all the validation process. So in terms of innovation, what's interesting for an independent artist is that part of the work that is usually done by a publisher, we do it ourselves, so that you can keep your autonomy somehow in the music business.
Yeah, got it. Autonomy, superbly important, right, for all of us artists, creators. Membership services, you mentioned that, Thomas. Stella, is this something that you're seeing as a need or an increase in terms of a trend within independent artists at the moment? Are there any other trends that you're seeing?
Yes, I do think it's something that we're seeing more. We're seeing a lot more of in the last 3-4 years, and also we will continue to see more in the coming years because as there's so much information out there, so much choices, like we said, artists are increasingly seeking partners and sources of information to decipher it, where they can access resources. So you find they're seeking out platforms that are experts in a certain field, or at least are able to point them in the right direction, have resources, are able to sort of make certain things like copyright, publishing, et cetera, a bit more transparent. And I think you're going to start to see more and more of that. There's going to be an increased need for knowledge bases, sharing of information, partnering to share information, and make the industry more and more transparent for the artist. I think as innovation continues to grow and accelerate, you're going to need to see more and more of that.
Spot on. And is there anything at the moment that's really exciting you that you're seeing?
With AIM, we've actually just recently launched the AIM Associates platform, which is fundamentally that. It's a platform that is knowledge-based. You type in any question. So it's fantastic for an artist who's just starting out from their bedroom, doesn't know how to get their first record out, or someone who's starting an independent label, a one-man independent label, a partnership independent label, any structure. You type it in there, and it just brings out, it sort of collects all the information that's available on that particular topic, and also gives you the opportunity or the ability to network with other people at similar levels. So yeah, that's a quite exciting platform that we have. There are other tiers of membership like AIMS right holders, Friends of AIMS, et cetera, for maybe a little bit more established labels. But yeah, the Associates of AIM, it's free to join, and it's an exciting one that's just launched.
Superb. What innovations are you seeing in the licensing space, Benjamin?
Yeah, the biggest trend I'm seeing right now is the proliferation of content creation tools. So it used to be if you were a content creator, you would use either Adobe Premiere or Final Cut to create your content. And a lot of professional content creators still use those tools. But now there's just a huge amount of mobile apps that are really good, powered by different kinds of AI that allow content creators to create really compelling content, which they can then push to all the different platforms. So what I'm really excited about is how we can power high-quality commercial music in those apps via an intelligent API. So that's what I'm quite excited about. And it's a little bit of a mess right now. I think the major labels just issued a whole slew of cease and desist to all these mobile apps because they're using, music they don't have licenses to and templates, and it's a total mess. So yeah, I'm excited about kind of bringing to market a solution that can clean it up a little bit and offer a legitimate way to get commercial music into these apps. So yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, great. Thomas, if you could future forecast in the next, let's say 5 years, where do you see Patreon going?
I mean, I kind of want to take it to 20 years, if you don't mind.
All right, go for 20.
Because it'll probably take us 5 years to do native video, so. But jokes aside, I think where we're headed is we want to be fully embedded in an artist's life. Benjamin just said it, and Stella as well. There's just an overload of solutions right now. And artists have to deal with, 5 streaming platforms, 6 different social networks, 3 different monetization suites, and then social media publishing tools, and so on and so on and so on. I think we're trying to be at the center of membership and the core operating system for artists' lives. So when you look at what that looks like 10 years from now, it's potentially providing artists healthcare. It's doing bank loans for artists. It's essentially being a provider of resources and tools and things to set them up for success way beyond membership. And again, we're an open platform. We love to collaborate with others, and so we're opening up as much as we can, bringing in other companies, integrating with other companies, but essentially our 10-year vision is to be the sole operating model for artists when they want to build a membership business.
Is there any particular type of company that you would be looking to bring in the foreseeable future?
We've recently integrated with Acast for podcasters. we're always looking to integrate, whether it's with global partners or local partners in France. I think we split our approach according to creative verticals. I've been talking to a couple of podcasting companies in France, seeing if we can integrate and make that experience better for patrons. We're also talking to companies in the video space. We're really open. I can't speak about any concrete partnerships, but we're really looking to expand, whether it's for musicians, podcasters, YouTubers, you name it.
Fantastic. Copyright, what does that look like for Bridger 5 years from now?
I don't think complexity will stop. I believe that there's kind of a, as in physics, you've got a musical entropy, so complexity is going to increase, speed is going to increase, and it's just about chaos management somehow. What I hope for Bridger is that we keep on integrating lots of non-affiliated songwriters. We believe that any copyright owner should be part of the game. That's important. If you're out, you're just out, and you're leaving the benefits to the others. And I think we're working in an open environment, and that's, I believe, part of the future. We're working. We have released some open source codes. We're using open source identifiers, and that we believe is part of the solution. So I guess the future is more open.
Yeah, by open environment, I mean, there's obviously a lot of kind of music tech startups here, and as advice, what can you explain that a bit more? What kind of work would that involve?
It may be a bit technical, but we know that all the publisher information is not open. Society in general work in their closed environment, and it may benefit to everyone to have more open systems than closed systems. It may fasten the exchanges.
It's all about being open, guys. You were very open last night. Independent artists, what do you see the vision as, Stella, in 5 years' time? Like, what solutions will be coming in? What will life look like as an independent artist in an ideal vision?
Oh, that's a tricky one.
How long have you got? 4 minutes.
I think what we've seen so far is with the move of sort of the tech age, particularly in the last 4 years, is the power is being put back in the hands of the consumers, the fans. They're dictating what kind of content they want to see. And you have, platforms like TikTok where that's very evident. We want to see this, and that, in a sense, dictates the metrics which the label and people on the business side of it respond to in terms of how to push the music out or market the product or the release more accurately, or the artist how to connect better with their fans. Everything sort of heavily relied on metrics now. And I think in the next few years, we're going to see more of that shift. We're going to see solutions that allow artists to use this metrics, the data analysis, to connect with their fans in a more concise way, where you're not looking at data from here, data from there. There's going to be sort of more platforms, because we've had a flood of different technology, different platforms, et cetera. We're going to start seeing, perhaps trying to make a more cohesive solution for the artist to break down the information that's out there and translate it or interpret it in practical ways that they can make choices to release their music and connect with fans in a more simplified manner.
Yeah, choice. That's fantastic, isn't it? Increasing the amount of choice within the next 5 years. Super exciting. Benjamin, the future of licensing, 5 years' time. What do you see it as?
For us, our general mission is to soundtrack the world. And to do that, I think we believe we should be our music should be available wherever content is being created. So that's all about making the right partnerships and integrations with the tools that are being used to create content. And then on the artist side, I hope within 5 years we're working with 3 times as many artists as we are today, producing not only your classic 3-minute songs, but all kinds of sounds that can power music for today's platforms, but also the next generation of platforms and metaverses and all of that. And because I think that'll be a huge opportunity within, especially within sync. It's like, how do you soundtrack a metaverse? How do you import that sound? What does that look like? So Yeah.
Wow, that is super, super exciting. And linking that to Sophie's talk yesterday on the metaverse and her saying it's not a revolution, it's an evolution. These guys are soundtracking the music industry. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a round of applause to Tom, Jocelyn, Stella, and Benjamin.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions?
Thank you. I'm Scholly, and my question goes to Benjamin. So my question would be, what share of revenue, what percentage of revenue do you share with the artist? So whether it is performed on YouTube or by the subscription for the commercial part?
Yeah, sure. So our artists are paid upfront for all the tracks they deliver, and they get a 50-50 split of all streaming revenue. They also participate in our subscription revenue that we earn on our SaaS product that we license to content creators. And then all our artists are, I think most of them are actually investors in the company itself.
Okay, but on a subscription basis, not 50-50, it's not possible, right?
No, there's a pool of money that gets distributed from the subscription that gets distributed to the artists based on their performance.
Okay, based on the Spotify model or based on the SoundCloud model?
Based on how much their tracks are downloaded by the content creators using the library.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else? Questions? Now's your chance. No, done? Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. It's time for 20 minutes breaks, and let's come back here.